This episode was sponsored by PIA. Hey guys, what's up? It's Karl, and it's been exactly 6 months since the iPhone 12s came out, and I think now is the toughest time if you're still planning on getting a new iPhone. Will you get the iPhone 12 now, 6 months later, or will you wait 6 months more for the iPhone 13? Because typically, always, Apple introduces a new iPhone every year around the same time, so we're exactly halfway between the refresh cycle. And this is kind of a mixed video of my revisited review and if you should wait for the next model potentially. And maybe we'll start off with the things that I haven't been too crazy about using this phone every single day as my daily. And just to keep a note, I do use the iPhone 12 Pro Max as my daily, even though I still think I recommend the iPhone 12 to most people out there, and that's solely for the battery life. And I think I classify as an ultra user, as I'm on my device around 7 hours a day of screen on time. I'm usually stuck scrolling through the endless loop of social media, but since it's my job, I guess we can look past that. So for that reason alone, the battery is something to consider, and the standard iPhone 12. I find that when you just get a new device, it's obviously the best. It has the best battery life, and as you continue to use it 6 months down the road, the iPhone 12 does not last me the entire day. And even the 12 Pro Max, if I'm on it for more than that 7 hours, I find around 8 p.m. I need to juice it up. Definitely not as good as other Android devices, but if you wait till the end of this video, you should see that the iPhone 13 is actually looking to increase the battery life. So that's always a plus. The second thing, which I haven't been crazy about, which is kind of my own fault because I always rock my phones naked. I'm lucky enough to upgrade my device every single year. I try not to rock a case or screen protector on it. Because of that, my phone takes a pretty decent beating. On the 12 Pro, it's wrapped in a premium material of stainless steel. Mine has so many nicks and scratches, unfortunately. I'll try to get some macro or close-up shots to show you guys, but my recommendation always, most people hold their devices for 3-4 years. Get a case, get a screen protector. It just increases the longevity of your phone. And the third thing, which I'm not too crazy about, is the display and specifically the design. And because I'm lucky enough to test out pretty much every smartphone that comes out, even cheaper Android devices that are $500-600, they have better displays than the iPhone. It just feels so dated. We haven't had an iPhone display design refresh in the longest time, so it still has the oversized notch, a big forehead. Bezels that are still a bit thick, but maybe that's just me being a bit OCD, staring at technology every single day. I don't think most people will kind of notice that, but those are the main things that I don't like about the current iPhone 12 line. And before we move on to all the positives, once again, big thanks to PIA Private Internet Access for sponsoring this episode. It's actually a VPN that I use on my phone every single day to help hide my IP and just increase my security. It's a secure VPN service with over 30 million downloads. It has over 10,000 VPN servers in over 70 countries. Whether you're using iOS, macOS, or any other operating system, it's available. And I actually use it every single day to watch US Netflix as I'm based here in Canada. A lot of you guys down south of the border seem to have some better stuff. So if you're interested, check the link down below. You get 2 years plus 3 months for free for only $2.59 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's a pretty dope deal, and you can actually even pay with Bitcoin, which I think is also one of the first VPNs that I've heard that. Anyways, on to the things that I've loved about the iPhone 12. So first off, the camera. I think the video on the iPhone 12 Pro specifically is kind of unrivaled across any smartphone. It has been so good. Even times when I forgot, say, my Sony, I can get by with footage, say, on my iPhone, integrate it into my videos, and use that footage seamlessly. Obviously, it's not as good as, say, a $4,000 camera with another $3,000 lens, but I'll have some B-roll footage to kind of compare them. For a sensor this small, plus it's a smartphone, super impressed. Next off, performance. The A14 Bionic chip, which is found across every iPhone 12 line, is just an absolute beast. And that's the reason why I'm using my iPhone 7 to 8 hours a day. Mobile usage. You can pretty much do every single thing on, say, an iPhone that you can do on a dedicated Mac. Of course, I edit all my videos on a Mac, but if I didn't have to use Final Cut Pro, I could pretty much get by solely on a smartphone. The experience is just super fluid, and when I hop back down to older iPhones, like say the iPhone 8, even the iPhone 10, that's the biggest difference that I notice between older and say a newer device. And that's important when we now consider what's coming to the iPhone 13, because technically Apple gives us one new device every single year, even though I think it should be more called the iPhone 12s instead of the iPhone 13. And what I mean by that, Apple usually changes the overall design footprint of their devices every 2 years. So we saw that from the iPhone 5 to 6. Then we got the 6S, which was a slight refresh. Then we got the iPhone 7, new design change. Then we got the iPhone 8. So they skipped the 7S, changed it to the 8. It still had the same design, and Apple does that to kind of trick you into thinking you're getting a brand new device. It isn't an S model. It isn't really a little refresh. That's going to be the same thing switching between the iPhone 12 and 13. So it'll have the exact same design. We'll still have these squared off edges. We'll still pretty much have an identical form factor with small changes. So I personally think getting an iPhone 12 now is better than, say, waiting 6 months for an iPhone 13, which will look pretty much the exact same. If this was an argument from, say, the 11 to 12, I'd say, yeah, maybe it's worth waiting those extra 6 months because you'll get a new design. The phone won't feel as dated. But unfortunately, we'll still see the same design with slight tweaks. The first one is actually coming to the display, and that's, of course, the outdated screen refresh rate. And that's kind of irked me for years, but now more so than ever because you can get, say, a $300 to $400 Android device with a 90 Hz display. It's quicker than this. The second thing coming to the display, which actually makes my OCD-ness a bit happier, we might see a reduced notch size. You might shave off an extra 1 to 2 millimeters. It will still have the same width, but every millimeter to me counts. We're also going to be getting Touch ID coming back to the iPhone, and it won't be a physical button. That will just be an in-screen fingerprint sensor. The next big upgrade coming, which I think I'm actually the most stoked about because I might be able to go back down to the smaller size, say iPhone 13, is a larger battery. So when you tear down the current iPhone 12, you've got a 2815 milliamp hour battery. That is dwarfed by, say, the Galaxy S21. That has 4500 milliamps of juice. That kind of still speaks volumes to how efficient iOS is, but if we can increase the battery life, I think a lot more people will consider smaller devices. And the last thing that's coming are minor camera improvements, and that's the thing that the S models always used to have. So the camera could shoot 13% better in low light. You could maybe take slightly better photos, but considering how good the iPhone 12 Pro cameras already are, I think that's gonna be pretty tough to beat. Industry analysts, from what we're researching, are claiming that there might be an improved ultra-wide camera sensor. There might be better telephoto options, but to be honest, I rarely use the telephoto over on my 12 Pro Max anyways. So clearly you can see nothing too groundbreaking. There isn't a feature that's really jumping out at me saying, wow, that would be so worth it to wait for. And maybe the only one thing that would sway me to wait for the next gen iPhone, totally biased on my end, is the fabled or mythical orange iPhone. All of the renders have just got me pretty much drooling, and I'd only get that as a collector's item. I have been waiting for an orange iPhone for the longest time. I know we've got all the cool blue ones, Pacific blue over on the 12 Pro, but if you're just as crazy about the color orange as I am, then maybe the iPhone 13 is worth waiting for. But anyways, I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this video. I think that decision is kind of clear because we've got a small upgrade coming to the iPhone 13. Because it's an S model, the pricing structure should pretty much remain the same. So if anything, the current iPhone 12 lines should actually come down in price, which should make these even more enticing. Apple will still come out with the same lineup. Don't expect to see a new iPhone introduced. So the iPhone 13 mini all the way to the 13 Pro Max. I think there's 4 different devices there. I hope this video was a bit more clear and will help you decide whether you should wait out for the next gen iPhone, whether to buy one now, which is my total recommendation. Let me know if you have any other suggestions, or maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe you know a reason why to wait for the next gen iPhone. Let me know down below in the comments. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this vid, and I'll catch the rest of you in one of my next ones. Peace.